Good morning from Le Mans. A beautiful day is waiting for us with exciting truck racing. The weather forecast is not too bad. You see it's a little bit clouded. We are expecting maybe some rain, but yesterday there was a real rain battle between Adam Latchko and Norbert Kiss. Let's have a look. So that was yesterday. Now we are here and we are expecting now the qualifying. So have fun with our commentators, Jazz and EB.
Thank you very much, Chris. Yes, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Bugatti circuit here at Le Mans. My name is Chaz Draycott, and I'll be with you for all of this afternoon, all of today's action. To be honest, we have a qualifying session which is just about to get underway. Then we have Super Pole, where the top 10 will all go for a quick shootout to see who gets their respective grid positions in the top part of the field. And then, of course, we'll have two more fantastic races. We had plenty of battles, plenty of action yesterday in very differing conditions. The first race was a little bit cooler than the qualifying session was that took place in the morning. Drivers were saying that the circuit was getting a little bit more slippery and a little bit more difficult to navigate. But then, of course, in the afternoon, it rained a lot before the second race of the weekend. And this man, Norbert Kiss, was pretty unstoppable, to be honest, once he got going again, with some amazing manoeuvres and plenty of consistency and great commitment, as we always see from Norby. It's just to be expected so far. That's the man that finished in second place yesterday, Adam Latchko. He was leading most of the race after overtaking Stefan Fast due to a mistake by Stefan, but unfortunately was not able to hold on to it until the end of the race. Still doing well in the championship, though, is Adam Latchko. Second place at the moment, 19 points off Norbert Kiss. They have 9 podiums each so far this season. It just so happens, though, that 7 of those are race wins for Norbert Kiss. Adam Latchko has 1 to his name this season, which he scored at Zolder. And we have Chris down there with an interview for us.
Yeah, Jan Kalivoda, the team manager of Bogira. It's a special situation this weekend. 2 of your racers are not participating, but all the concentration goes on Adam Latchko because Theo Calvé and Alaya are going for the French championship. How is this? Is it complicated to manage that?
Actually, it is very difficult weekend because we fight on in the 2 championship at the same time. And all drivers have the same priority because we are fighting in the French Cup in the overall championship because Theo is leading and 2 last races to become the champion. And of course we are fighting with Adam, who is holding the 2nd position in the overall championship in Europe. So it's really difficult because one session finished and the second one already started. So it's really stressful.
So how you manage it? It's going back and forth between the 3 cars?
We have 2 independent groups, but stressful it is for the key people who are running both let's say, categories. So it's difficult, but trying to manage.
How much attention gets Adam today? Because yesterday it was a little bit difficult for him, only 10th position. It was very close for the qualifying.
Yeah, yesterday was a bit stressful day as well for Adam, because we come here from Zolder with the same setup, but obviously didn't work much over here. So we struggled the whole day, and over the night we tried to manage to get a new setup, which looks like it works in the warm up, but we will see now in the Super Bowl how it's going to go, because P5 is not our target.
Adam is the follower-up from Norbert Kisch. What do you think? What he can achieve? It's not too many races left.
Actually, this year it's the competition is really tough, because there's not only Norbert Kisch, but obviously Jochen Hahn having a struggle in the beginning of the season, but right now with getting to the top, Antonio Albacete is up and down as well. So I think the top 5 drivers are really chasing the points, and Sasha Lenz, of course, and you never know what's going to come, because every weekend someone's have a trouble. So there are really 5 drivers fighting for the championship.
Now we are looking forward to the qualifying. What will be the tactics?
Yeah, tactic is simple, to be the best. But as I said, there's 500 drivers who have the same target, and only the driver can make the difference, and how he's going to handle the truck. I believe Adam is really great in handling any kind of condition, because especially here in Le Mans, you have a wet condition, dry condition, wet condition, and the condition changing even during the session. So it's really difficult for every driver to adapt to these conditions. But I believe Adam will do his best to have a best position in the race.
Jan, thank you very much. And now we have an interview with Adam that we made before, and let's hear what he has to say about the situation. Adam, how is it to get all the attention of the team? Because Alaya Kolok is not racing and Theo Calvé, so you are the only one. You get all the attention?
I think it's okay, because Theo fighting of the title in the French Championship, Ala also in the woman and the youngest driver, and I'm alone, but there is not problem. We fight like normal, and I try maximum what I know.
Yesterday it was very close for the qualifying. You have been on the 10th place. What are your chances, your opportunities for today?
Yeah, the qualifying is not so important. You must stay on the top 10. We are there. And the most important is Super Bowl. And there we are 5th. And I hope today is a little bit better.
What are your tactics? Are you saving tires today?
One more.
You save the tires again?
Yeah, we have a new tire for qualifying, like every time, because when you don't have new, it's no chance to get it a good time. And we make big change during the night, and we will see if it's help or not. Because on the morning where it's warm up, it's very not good condition, and we don't know how was it. And I hope we are on the good way.
Okay, good luck. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So that was Adam. Now we are here back with Jan. How's the situation for Theo Calvé? He was the hero the last weekend race in Zolder. How is his situation? Because yesterday he told me he wants to win the French title.
Actually, I think he's a really hero over here as well, because yesterday in the race 1, what he showed great performance, and he fight with Janik till the last corner when he overtook him in the last corner on the straight, and he won the race. But actually later on he got penalized, otherwise he would be champion already yesterday. But today I think if he just finished the race 1, it's done, and he will be the champion of the French Cup.
And in Jarama we will see Theo back here.
Yes, in Jarama, Alia and Theo will come back to the European Championship.
Jan, thank you very much, and back to you.
Thank you very much, Chris. Great to get some good insight ahead of today's qualifying session on how these drivers are feeling, what they think of the whole dynamic of being part of a team. And that is one of the main things in motorsport, is that a lot of teams usually have more than one vehicle in their arsenal, and Bagheera Racing, the biggest team in this championship with 3 trucks. As we know, obviously running Adam Latchko, Alia Kolok and Theo Calve. But Theo is still going for that French title this weekend, so we will not see him racing with us. But we have seen him sort of in the background and floating around. We actually spoke to him yesterday before he raced in the French Truck Racing Championship. Now, the penalty markers being placed into the ground there indicates that we are ready to go. So those penalty markers are basically a more physical track limits outline for the drivers. So if they do hit them, their lap times get deleted, and if they go over where those markers are too many times over the course of a race, then they will get time penalties as well. So they need to be very careful indeed, and it's not easy to avoid them, as silly as that sounds, when you see the size of them compared to a person. But still, these drivers have to make the most of every little bit of road that they can in the pursuit of the fastest lap. Great to see more fans out again here today. The support from the fans has been awesome this season. Obviously with the COVID pandemic making life a little bit more difficult, but still a big number of people making their way out to come and see us. And now we have trucks making their way through the pit lane. That was Jochen Hahn, Steffi Halm, and then Stefan Faas, who was on pole position for the second race yesterday thanks to the reverse grid. And there is Shane Brereton in truck 17. He's trying to go for the lead in the Goodyear Cup standings. That's for the drivers that are rated in the Chrome class. There's Titan and Chrome, basically Pro and Am. And here we are on board with Heinrich Clementecker, just creeping our way down the pit lane to the end. There's Sascha Lenz, third in the championship coming into this. 127 points now to his name. 7 podiums this season, 2 race victories. He won the very first race of the season, did Sascha Lenz. And now you can see our field all lining up. Louis Requenco a bit further back. There's Jamie Anderson, the number 33. Makes it nice and easy to identify Jamie with having his name down the side of the truck in humongous letters. And the pit exit is now open, so the session will begin. So the whole field goes out for this first qualifying session to try and set a time. Those that are in the top 10 by the end of this session go through to the Super Pole session, which will start not long after. So we have 20 minutes now for all of these drivers to get a time on the board. You'll see that a lot of them go for, obviously, a cool outlap and don't go quite at full chat, as we call it here in the UK. Then they'll go for a fast lap, and then they'll have a very long cooldown lap. Some of them, if they're happy with the time they've put in, will actually go straight back into the pits and stay there until the end. At the end of the day, they're saving tyres, they're saving fuel. Some of them don't see the need for the added expense when they are already in a safe position to go through. Now, another thing to note is that yesterday we saw Antonio Albacetti's team, just there in the 23 truck, letting the water out of the tanks yesterday. Now, these trucks, they spray water onto their intercoolers through a big rail system, which is manually operated by the drivers, and they spray water onto the brakes as well to cool them down, to keep them at a good operating temperature. But obviously that water needs to be stored somewhere on the vehicle, so they have humongous water tanks hidden near the back of the body. And Antonio Albacetti's team were letting that water out yesterday after this first qualifying session ahead of Superpole, because they knew they'd gotten through. So they do this session with all of the weight on board, and then they take some of it out to be a bit quicker in Superpole. It's a great system. It sounds like a very simple one on the face of it, but I can guarantee you that not everybody has thought of that. Big slide by Adam Latchko. We saw some amazing drifting by Norbert Kish yesterday. You never know, if he takes another win today, we might see more of the same. A statistic that I raved on and on and on about yesterday is the fact that this man, Norbert Kish, has won at least 2 races at every race meeting so far. He's won 1 at Le Mans so far. So he wants to win at least one of the races today to keep up that trend. He's the championship leader, not by a massive amount, 19 points back to Adam Latchko. But he leads the field around at the start of qualifying, and off he goes in the clear air. There's Latchko following along in his Freightliner. Then it's Antonio Albacete and Jochen Hahn. Steffi Halm not too far behind, then Stefan Fass, and I believe Andre Kurzim is next up. Immense pace up there through Dunlop Curve. And there's all the steam coming off the brakes, you see. That is where they've sprayed water onto them. He will continually spray water on them to cool them down before the next heavy braking zone. Down the hill to Virage de la Chapelle. Adam Latchko probably do the same. You might see bucket load of steam coming off the truck when he comes out of here. There's the MAN of Antonio Albacete, and the other one of the old guys behind him, Jochen Hahn. Those two had a fantastic interview yesterday when they finished P1 and P2 in qualifying. And they finished that way in the race as well, let's not forget. So, Norby, as he's known, flying round at the moment in terms of the first sectors. Jochen Hahn is only 1/10 of a second off Norbert Kish, but everybody else is over half a second down in just the first sector alone. We'll see what it looks like in the second sector when that comes through, but Norbert once again looking very potent indeed in this qualifying session. I'm not sure what it is about his truck, but it just looks like it's going faster than everybody else as well. Only 1/10 of a difference between him and Latchko. He's 3/10 faster than Jochen Hahn in that sector as well. Steffi Halm matches Jochen Hahn there too. Not too much of a difference between everybody there. Obviously not as many harsh braking zones or anything. Now then, Norbert out of the final corner. Gives it a bucket load of power and across the line, and his first time of the session will be a 2:07.5. Now yesterday his pole position time is a 2:05.5, which shows a big difference in conditions. Hahn is half a second off. Latchko down to third. Halm, then Albacete. Albacete will definitely want to improve on that one. 1.4 seconds off. Andre Kurzim has gone 5th. Brayton is 7th. And truck 25, which is Heinrich Clemens Hecker, is having his lap time deleted, as you saw at the bottom of your screen there. So now the cool-down laps will begin. A lot of drivers will just get their trucks to the right sort of temperature, cool the brakes, cool the engine. These things are very big and very hot. Looks to me like Jochen Hahn and Antonio Albacete are going a little bit quicker than the other guys for a second there. I think Jochen potentially trying another fast lap here. Now, Norbert Kish got a penalty yesterday in qualifying because in trying to get out of the way of Sascha Lenz, it was a little bit too late because Sascha Lenz had continued and gone into a fast lap again. Norbert had still been slowing down off the end of his lap, and unfortunately there was contact between the pair. You can still see a few drivers going for it. There's a warning for Jamie Anderson, the number 33 truck. So he's obviously been hitting some of those penalty markers on the edge of the circuit. I'm intrigued to see what Jochen Hahn can do sector-wise, although actually it doesn't look like he's been pushing in the first sector all the way around. I think he's just trying to get that little bit of clean air to make sure he's at the front of the queue for when he starts his fast lap. We'll have to see. Either that or he's just saving time in coming back to the pits very quickly. Now Antonio's in front of him, and they're going to continue, so they're going for another lap. I told you Antonio will, because he won't be too chuffed with being 1.5 seconds off. He's 8th at the moment. He can do better than that here. We've had multiple people telling us already this weekend that Antonio is very quick here. The Spaniard, a great talent and a real top character. So here you go then. 100 miles an hour up through Curve Dunlop. It's an incredible sight and an incredible noise as well. The lap times are some 2 seconds off what they were yesterday, so the conditions obviously a little bit too cool and a little bit slippery at the moment for them. Down the hill he goes. Look how quickly they arrive at the long right-hander. Bit of a lock-up by the look of it. Bit of understeer as well. You can see the black streaks behind it on the road as it instantly dries the surface, removes whatever moisture there is with the humongous amount of heat going through those tyres. 6 tyres on each of these racing trucks, of course. Goodyears as well. 4 wheels on the back, 2 wheels on the front. Kicks the tail out a little bit, does Antonio. Uses all of the curb on the right-hand side. Doesn't really affect the truck too much. And watch the nose dive down now onto the brakes. There you go. This is Garage Vert. Really throws it in. The back end tries to come around. Obviously all of the weight at the front of these things, so the back end, while putting the power down, is almost along for the ride for a lot of these, much like a front wheel drive sort of touring car, but just a touring car that weighs 5.5 tons. Now back towards Shemin Obufs. It's a long smooth left-hander here. You really need to carry the momentum, don't overdo it on the penalty markers, then use the weight to go to the right. And then into S de Garage Bleu. Again, smooth apex there. Quite a late apex as well. You don't want to hug the inside all the way around. We saw people forced to do that yesterday while there were overtaking moves going on, and they lost a lot of momentum. Nice run out of the second to last corner. Andre Curzim's on a fast lap as well. He's not been happy with his first attempt. And Antonio Albacete out of the final corner. And where is this lap going to put him? It's surely going to be an improvement. He's up to 6th place, so he gains a couple of tenths of a second. So it's still not the best from him, but it'll get him into the Super Pole session. Andre Curzim just went across the line as well. And Stefan Faas has moved up to 9th. Curzim goes 4th. Andre Curzim, fantastic stuff from him. So Albacete finds himself back down in 7th. Shane Brereton is the one that's on the cusp at the moment. And Jamie Anderson, after having his lap deleted, has to go for another one if he wants to get into that Super Pole session. It was a new truck for Jamie and his team this year. They were struggling with things early on. And very interestingly as well, it's right-hand drive. He's a British driver and a British team. They have a right-hand drive, MAN, whereas a lot of the others are all left-hand drive. So he has to use his mirrors differently to everybody else and position himself on the road differently. It is actually something that you see more often than you think in motorsport, especially with touring car racing. There's a lot of left-hand drive versus right-hand drive machinery. It looks to me like Jamie might have actually backed off on this one. I think he might just be cooling it down again. Just doesn't seem to have the same body language as other laps that we've seen, does it? There is Luke Garrett. And he's had a black flag with an orange disc. Now that is for trucks with already racing vehicle with bodywork damage or an issue that is a potential hazard to others. Now I couldn't see any issues with that truck. I'm not sure what the situation is. And there wasn't even much smoke coming out of it either. There is a black smoke rule, as they call it, in this championship. So this is, as the sporting regulations state, any truck judged by an appointed judge of fact to be emitting any visible smoke at any time during the competition will be immediately shown the black flag with an orange circle. The final decision to show the flag will be under the responsibility of the FIA race director alone. Now, I didn't see that much smoke coming out of it. There was a little bit as he came out of the final corner, But it's all part of the championship trying to go carbon neutral. So they make sure that the emissions and that the engines are all running as cleanly as possible. And yes, there you go. Smoke warning then for Jamie Anderson. So that, I think, is the first one we've seen this season. And that means he's going to have to come in. So it actually says, though, if it's during practice, his times up to that point will be cancelled. So maybe it's just that he won't get any times on the board. If it's during a race, he will be allowed to restart, but that's after adjustments. And if he has to stop a second time, then he's basically not allowed back out. And there you go, there's confirmation at the bottom of the screen, which stops me speculating at least. Stefan Fast there in the pit lane with Norbert Kish behind. A number of them very happy with their times, although Stefan's on the cusp here, 9th place at the moment. And Norbert Kish is going to be sat there for a while, I imagine, waiting for the session to end. 6 minutes still to go. And you can see there Jochen Hahn, Steffi Halm, and even just in the top right of your screen, Sasha Lenz in there as well. A number of them very happy. Lenz currently 5th. There's Heinrich Clemens Hecker. Luke Garrett just behind, using all of the curb. And Jamie Anderson now will have to come in, I'm pretty sure. He's got Louis Rukwenko behind him. And there is Heinrich Clemens Hecker. Now, broke a spring yesterday, so unfortunately didn't make the first qualifying session. But he did make the race. He just lined up 13th on the grid. Finished 12th, but he got a 10-second penalty on his way there as well. I believe that was for overspeeding throughout the race. Now, these things are, of course, governed to 100 miles an hour. Anything over that is classed as unsafe in these trucks. So the drivers need to make sure they do not go over that magic 160 kilometers an hour figure. They take it very seriously indeed. And Jamie Anderson did come into the pits. So he will be hopefully getting that adjusted and sorted out by the team. Heinrich Clemens Hecker on another lap then to try and improve his position. Currently 13th fastest, just ahead of Jamie Anderson. Obviously the only man not to have set a time. Lovely look there at some of the official decals and stickers that these trucks have to have on them in the sporting regulations. It's one thing I love, you know, I'm a huge fanatic. It's a bit sad really, but I'm a huge fanatic for number boards in championships, with vehicles all sharing the same number boards on the sides and in the same positions and so on, so they're easily identifiable by commentators such as I and fans alike. And this championship enforces that very, very well. You can see a number of them all in the same place on the truck, so you know where to look. And the numbers nice and bold and easy to read. They have them on the windscreen as well, just to make it even easier. But that then, I believe, is down to the driver's choice as what font and size and so on. There's Luke Garrett out of the final corner, sharing that truck this season with Tom O'Rourke, the MV Commercial Truck Racing machine. You can hear him actually sort of slightly lifting as he goes down the straight to not go over that 100-mile-an-hour top speed. And just having a look there, the steward's decision to delete one of his lap times has just come up on the screen. So I'm intrigued what that was for. Shane Brayton jumps up actually to 7th place, puts Stefan Faas right on the edge now. And Stefan is still in the pit lane. So I'm not sure if anyone else will challenge him. There is Jamie Anderson. Still a bit of smoke coming out of the right-hand side of that truck. Not to get him in trouble or anything. Still doing an incredible amount of pace up towards the first corner. And Chris is down there with an interview for us in the pit lane. I believe Andrei Kurzim.
Andrei Kurzim, the 4th best time behind the big 3. What happened out there was what went very well.
Yes, the 4th best time. I think today our performance is much more better than yesterday, and now we will see what we can do in the qualifying, and hopefully we can get the position in the 2nd or 3rd row.
Any reason why it's going so well today?
Yeah, yesterday we had some problems, and we worked this night very hard, and yes, now it's much more better than yesterday, and yes, now we will see.
Okay, thank you. Back to you.
It's one of the incredible things of motorsport that teams overnight can work on a vehicle, work with their driver, just develop some different tiny tactics for the next day. It wouldn't seem like much to some people, you know, maybe just staying in different gear through one corner, or maybe just avoiding a curb, taking a later apex. These drivers and teams analyse so much between sessions and between events that they can develop so much over the course of a season. And Andrei Kurzim, after taking a win early on in the season at Most, has done a great job there with 4th place. We heard that Adam Latchko and a few others were having problems with their setups yesterday. These trucks are a nightmare to set up for wet weather conditions. That was Rene Reiner going across the line and up into 6th place. Rene going very well indeed. He started yesterday's race. He was only in race 2 yesterday. Started from the back of the grid. He had a penalty from Zolder. Now where does Jamie Anderson go? Just into the top 10. Jamie Anderson knocks Stefan Faas out. Stefan Faas does not make it through to Superpole. He qualified 6th yesterday. And Jamie Anderson, after a very trying session due to the black smoke rule, has done it. Now here is Luke Garrett. Currently sits 13th fastest, only faster than Heinrich Clemens Hecker. Can Luke Garrett get the MV Commercial Truck Racing MAN into the top 10? Looks fast through the left. Nice direction change through the right. Slows it down nice and smooth on the brakes. You can see a lot of the steam coming off it there. We've got Louis Requenco just behind him on track. Louis is currently 12th fastest at the moment as well. And we have another interview with Chris.
Yeah, Henry's the mechanic of Jamie Anderson. There was some smoke. What happened and what is the situation right now?
Yeah, we had a little issue with smoke, so we get a warning from the race control, so we have to come in and adjust it. And the time is very close, so for the end of the qualifying. So we swapped something, and we hope it's going to be good now. So last lap we make a good lap, and luckily we're in top 10. So fingers crossed that we make it to the Super Bowl, because some people are still on track. So we'll see.
How you solved the problem with the smoke?
Yeah, we swapped something, so makes a bit different on the ECU maybe, and then hope it's good.
Is there a decision that you participate for the Super Bowl?
No, if we don't change anything, they cancel our lap time, so we cannot go to Super Bowl. So we had to change something, and the time was very short, so that's why we have to come in and swap it and then go out again.
Okay, thanks for the information.
No problem.
Back to you.
I'm intrigued as to what they changed, but still, they fixed it. And unfortunately, though, it meant that Stefan Fass did not make it through. Now, there's the comparison between a Lotus Elise and a racing truck in terms of size, if you were ever wondering. The Lotus Elises were racing around here this morning, and the trucks, I think tower over them isn't actually as powerful a phrase as it should be, really, because they more than tower over those little Lotuses, don't they? We have fans towering over the circuit as they watch from high vantage points all around the Le Mans Bugatti circuit. Now, I was told that number 86 had a lap time deleted for a penalty marker, and there it is. As you can see, he's done a nice job of breaking it into pieces, and the Marshall's collection of those grows every single session. But in just a few minutes, we will have the Super Pole session underway for you. The drivers will make their way back out on track. A quick moment to thank all of our fantastic marshals that we have all the way around the circuit. We wouldn't be able to go racing without them. Now then, the trucks filter back into the line on the left-hand side of the pit lane. Jochen Hahn just pulling in front of Adam Latchko there. There's Jamie Anderson sneaking past Antonio Albacete, but he's coming back into his box to just have a once-over, check everything before they go back out. The team needs to just make everything spot on for this final session of the morning. We do have 2 races coming up for you, of course, today. Third race of the weekend will be at about 5 to 2 local time, just before 1 o'clock UK time. And the final race of the weekend, race 4, will be at 20 to 5 local time, 20 to 4 UK time. We're sharing the paddock this weekend with a number of different series, including the French Truck Racing Championship. So we have a little bit more time between our races than we normally do. The Anderson team just waiting for something. They must have already checked everything over once, and then the pit exit will open and everyone will be good to go. There's a very brave man standing in front of Norbert Kish. I know it's his job, but even still, they're very daunting machines, these trucks. I saw the British Truck Racing Championship in person at Thruxton a month or so ago, and I can tell you they are scary bits of kit. Right then, Super Pole gets underway, and the drivers make their way round for the very first time. Norbert Kish is the man to beat for sure, but if anyone's going to do it, it's the guy behind him, Jochen Hahn. Those two are the only drivers this season that have actually scored pole positions. Norbert Kish has done it 4 times, Jochen Hahn has done it 3 times, after he inherited yesterday's pole position due to the penalty for Norby. Jamie Anderson is given the all clear, and off he goes. You can hear the fantastic noise these engines make. 13 litres, most of these engines, with great big whopping turbochargers on them that make a fantastic whistle. Listen to that. Certainly a noise that will wake you up in the morning if you're a motorsport fan. It certainly wakes me up. Even a quick sound of the horn as well in the background there. We heard Norbert using the horn yesterday when he wasn't too impressed with Sasha Lenz's defending. So these trucks, as we know, are armed with their horns still. They don't have the headlights as such low down as you'd expect. You can see Jamie Anderson's lights inside the cabin. They're at eye level to the drivers so they can see them a lot more easily. And they're these very, very bright LED units as well, so they're really piercing light coming from the cabin of these trucks. Jamie Anderson then makes his way down to Garage Vert on his installation lap, just to get everything up to temperature and get the truck exactly how he wants it. It's the insane acceleration from these things. that you get to see down the straight there. Still baffles me now. Obviously the 0 to 60 times on these trucks, not phenomenal, but they do 20 to 100 miles an hour in the same amount of time as a Porsche 911 GT3 RS. And anybody that knows their cars know that that's a very potent machine indeed. So in the Goodyear Cup at the moment, Jamie is one of the guys that's really trying to fight for that one. He fell a little bit behind Shane Brereton and Teo Calve, but Shane is on 160 points, Teo 155, Jamie is on 118. His nearest rival is actually Stefan Faas, who he knocked out of the Super Pole session at the end of that last qualifying session there, so that's important for him. There's only 7 points between those two. And Jamie brings the number 33 truck all the way up the hill and then hard onto the brakes while still straightening the truck up as well. That can't be easy through there. It's a very, very difficult corner, is the Dunlop chicane. Up over the crest, a little bit sideways on the exit. You can see even from this camera the way that the truck moves around on the power, dances about. There he goes on the exit. Into the long Virage du Musée. Takes a later apex to get a good run off the corner. We saw Norbert Kish go around the outside of Adam Latchko there yesterday in an incredible move for the race win. That gave him the inside to this right-hander, which Jamie went a little bit too hot into yesterday on a few occasions, and I think he might have just gone a little bit hot there as well. Hard on the power down the back straight. He's got Shane Brereton in front of him. Shane is in front of all of them in the Goodyear Cup. This final section is one of the most difficult bits of the circuit for these trucks. There's a little bit more stop-start. This long, flowing right-left S-bend into Virage de Raccordement. The final double right-left, the latter stage of the Ford chicane on the 24-hour layout. And it's a big improvement for Norbert Kish, a 2:06.0. That's only half a second off the qualifying time he did yesterday. Jochen Hahn currently second place with a 2:06.6. Sascha Lenz on a 2:06.8 in third place. Then it's René Reiner. Great to see René going well. Kurzim fifth, Alberthetti sixth, ahead of Halm, Brereton, Latchko and Anderson. Latchko is a big surprise down there in ninth. He must have made some sort of mistake on his lap, because we know that he is capable of more than that. But it's Kish and Hahn battling for pole position once again here at Le Mans. Now they have 4 minutes to go. A fast lap around here is 2 minutes. So if they're going to put in another quick lap, they need to get on with it and do that now, really. We've got blue flags out for everybody at the moment. Antonio Alberthetti, by the look of it, was trying to make his way through there, and Latchko goes across the road. I don't think Antonio was on a fast lap. I just think that he's trying to get around quickly and get into some clear air as soon as possible. There's Shane Brereton going around the outside of René Reiner. This is the moment where all the drivers try and filter back into place now. And they work on getting a little bit of real estate that'll just help them out. Norbert Kish, very importantly, is the driver that's always at the front of the queue in these qualifying sessions, and it certainly looks like it helps him out a lot. In motorsport commentary, we often talk about cars and vehicles punching a hole in the air to create slipstream or disturb the air behind them for any vehicles that are following on. Now, if you want to punch a hole in the air, you can do it with a 5-ton truck. They're not the most aerodynamic of things. As you can see though from Sasha Lenz's beautiful number 30 machine, they certainly do try to make them aerodynamic though. They have these big long sweeping side skirts all the way from the front bumper down the side. And Sasha gets back on it for another lap then. Third in the championship at the moment is Sasha Lenz. Only 3 points behind Adam Latchko. And he's a long way ahead of him at the moment. In terms of this qualifying session. Up towards the Dunlop chicane they go. I believe Latchko will pop up over the hill in a moment. Either that or Shane Brereton. There is Latchko. Sorry, Shane Brereton's a little bit further back. There's Sasha Lenz. Winner of the very first race this season at the Hungaro Ring. After Norbert Kish had a boost pipe failure, which they later blamed on the procedure that tests the boost that Scrutineering were doing. Sasha Lenz looking nice and smooth around the long left-hander there. He's going for his first pole position of the season. Only 2 drivers have taken the top honours in qualifying so far this year. Norbert Kish and Jochen Hahn. Don't forget Alberthetti was on the front row as well yesterday. Sasha Lenz yesterday qualified 3rd. Well, he actually qualified 4th, but was promoted to 3rd after the penalty for Norby. Stefan Fass was the highest placed Chrome driver yesterday. At the moment, it's Shane Brereton down in 8th place. But René Reiner, he's really impressed me so far. Sorry, Reiner. Really impressive in 4th position. He needs some good championship points. Currently has 17 points to his name, does René. Coming into this, he was 11th in the championship. So across the line they go then. Improvements from Sasha Lenz, who goes 2nd fastest. Adam Latchko only goes up to 7th. So Adam doesn't improve by much. He's going to have a lot of work to do, and the checkered flag will come out any moment now. And there we go. So Latchko will really have to work hard in the first race of the day by the look of it, but Norbert Kish, it seems, has bagged himself another pole position, his 5th of the season. Jochen Hahn down to 3rd place. Looks to me like he's still going for it, actually, does Jochen? I think some of these guys want to get those final laps in. That to me looks like a Jochen on the move. Now he's a little bit further down compared to his previous Sector 1 times. Takes it in nice and deep through the first of the 2 right apexes. Maximises the run on the exit. Yeah, that to me is a man on a mission. Such a lovely guy as Jochen, but such a fierce racer. A bit of the bodywork is sort of flapping away on the left-hand side of his truck, actually. The front left there, seemingly just poking out. Carries some great speed through that middle sector there. He's not actually going as quickly as Kurzim or Alberthetti, who are both on fast laps as well. Alberthetti's going very quickly. In comparison to Hahn, anyway, I'm not quite sure what it's like compared to the pole time, because those sectors have now disappeared that Norbert Kish has continued on his way. So let's see what Jochen Hahn can do then. He's got to do better than a 206.6. Pole position's a 205.9. What does Jochen do? He does not improve. It's a 207.5. Alberthetti goes up to 5th place though. Displaces Andre Kurzim. So Alberthetti with that final lap gets another position. And unfortunately for Jochen Hahn, he could not force the Iveco S-Way to do what he wanted it to do. Norbert Kish has strangely continued on and not come into the pit lane. As all the drivers now sound their horns to show their respect for the fans and give them a show. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, in motorsport, there's no better showman than the truck racing drivers, I must say. It's a bold statement, but I'll stick by it. These guys are all incredibly proud of what they do. There's a fantastic community behind it all. The hashtag One Truck family that we all know and love. And Jochen Hahn is a real prime example of the great people we have in this championship. And the truck racing community all around the world. Getting to grips with it all this year. To be commentator for this championship has been phenomenal fun. And I really look forward to seeing everybody finally at Misano at the end of the season. I'm very grateful to have been invited to go out there in person to go and see them all and commentate from the circuit. And there is the championship leader and pole sitter, Norbert Kisch. That big red truck this year has certainly got some status behind it, and he's showing us all exactly how to do it up to now. There goes Sasha Lenz into the pit lane, or at least into the paddock, I should say. And then Rene Reiner, Jamie Anderson and Andre Kurzim. Not a bad qualifying for Kurzim, that's 6th place. Yesterday he qualified 7th, so it's an improvement. Rene Reiner didn't even qualify yesterday, he had a qualifying ban. But Adam Latchko will be the man that's not too pleased, although I say that yesterday he was 5th in qualifying, so it's not like he was on the front row or anything. But it's just not the sort of performance we expected, especially after how fantastically quick he was yesterday in that second race. But we all know that Adam is an incredible star in the wet weather conditions. There's Antonio Albacete going in. You should see Jochen Hahn. I think Jochen was in front of him, actually. There you go then. Norbert Kisch and Sasha Lenz will make up the front row of the grid. Jochen Hahn and Rene Reiner will be row 2. Antonio Albacete will be 5th, with Andre Kurzim alongside him on row 3. Row 4 is Adam Latchko and Steffi Halm. And then it's an all-British row 5, Shane Brereton and Jamie Anderson. Stefan Fast lines up alongside Louis Requenco on row 6. And at the back of the field, we will have number 86, Luke Garrett, and number 25, Heinrich Clemens Hecker. But another dominant performance by Norbert Kisch, and that is really the story of the season, isn't it, to be honest? He may have had his little bits of trouble here and there, and penalties and incidents and whatever else. But Norbert is always up there. He always comes back fighting no matter what goes against him. And I think maybe this man, Jochen Hahn, doesn't have it as easy as he thought he might have done over the last few seasons. Like I say, 6-time champion is Jochen Hahn, looking for his 7th title. And I think in the last 10 years or so, if Jochen hasn't won the title, he's finished 2nd in the championship. So shows you just how incredible this driver is. It's a new Iveco S-Way though this time round for Jochen, so it's a bit of an installation season for that truck. To see what he can make of it and see what improvements can be made along the way. You can hear all the horns being sounded in the background. Sounds absolutely fantastic, doesn't it? The marshals now taking a bit of time just to chill slightly. And all of the fans now preparing for whatever else comes their way race-wise this afternoon. They have a jam-packed programme of action for them this weekend. Machines of all shapes and sizes. But I can't tell you enough how much it has been great to get all the fans back out. We went so long without any fans at these circuits. It's been beautiful to get them all back out there. The atmosphere really wasn't the same without them. You can hear some of the trucks now making their way out for the French Truck Racing Championship, which have one of their races coming up. And there as well is part of the showcase in the paddock, which is a great show of some of the road trucks we have here. We actually have an interview now with Chris, who I believe is with Sascha Lenz.
Sascha, what a strong performance. Was für eine starke Vorstellung von Ihnen. Platz 2, was ist da so richtig gut gelaufen?
Die erste Runde habe ich noch geguckt, ob wirklich die Fahrbahn trocken bleibt. Sieht die ganze Zeit nach Regen aus. Die war trocken und dann habe ich versucht, die zweite Runde nochmal richtig zu pushen. Gestern war ja das Problem im Nobby, dass der mir die schnelle Runde da kaputt gemacht hat. Ja, wir sind mega happy, wir sind mega zufrieden und ja, dann hat sich auch die Arbeit gestern Abend gelohnt.
Was war es für eine Arbeit? Oh, first I translate. He says he's very, very happy, especially after yesterday with the incident with Nobby Kish. And he said that all the work they did last night, that they paid out. And what was the work? Was habt ihr gemacht? Was habt ihr noch verändert in der Nacht?
Du glaubst doch jetzt im allen Ernst nicht, dass ich dir das verrate, oder? Also, nein, wir haben die Daten analysiert, wir haben geguckt, wo dran kann es gelegen haben oder auch vom Fahrerischen her eine andere Linie ausprobiert und ja, siehe, da hat alles funktioniert, was wir getan haben.
You see, I just tried to ask him what they changed, and he was laughing and say, "Okay, you don't believe that I'm telling you." But they said they analyzed all the data, and I think Sascha can be proud about this what he achieved. And now I wish you a good race, gutes Rennen. Was hast du dir vorgenommen?
Ja, wir wollen auf jeden Fall unsere Position halten und da muss man erstmal abwarten, wie der Start verläuft, wie die erste Schikane oben nach dem Berg verläuft. Gestern hatte ich auch einen leichten Kontakt, habe direkt 2 Plätze verloren, deswegen wir bleiben auf dem Teppich. Wir wollen gucken, dass wir auf jeden Fall weiter nach vorne kommen, aber wir müssen uns auch nach hinten absichern.
So he says the first corners will be very important. Thank you very much. And yeah, he says of course I'm looking to get some better places, but also I have to look what's happening behind me. So we see you at the race. Good luck and see you then. Bye bye for now.